What would it be like to be a digital nomad? You know, people that live and work internationally. They're traveling around, they're working, they have clients from all over the world. Yeah, what would that be like? Well, I do have some answers for you. I have this great guest lined up, Christian Davies, and he's been living this lifestyle for over a decade, before digital nomad was even labeled as such. So in this conversation, we dive into all of that, you know, what it's all about, some of the rewards, some of the challenges, and why and how he particularly got into all of this. So it's a really engaging conversation, and this highlights video compilation, you know, touches on a lot of these aspects, but not all of them. So I do encourage you to go check out the full-length audio version wherever you access your podcast. Just do that search for Life as a ... All right, well, let's get into it. As you know, Life as a is all about getting in behind the curtain, you know, examining professions from several different angles. And right out of the gate here, Christian poses this really interesting question about the life and about the work of being a digital nomad. So I'd like to launch into this discussion with this question that he poses.
Are you working or are you traveling? Can you do both? Can you give 100% effort into your job if you've got one eye on going down to the beach tomorrow? Can you give 100% of your holiday and have the best holiday you've ever had if you've got one eye on clients? Don't know, right? So that's why I kind of, yes, I get it. I would class myself as a digital nomad. However, I've now just bought a massive PC so I could video edit. So traveling is slightly difficult. But yeah, and I've asked a couple of friends here. I said, like, because I was preparing for this, I thought it was great. And I wanted to ask them, do they consider themselves? And they actually gave me interesting insights about where their clients are. My friend here, he said, my clients are in Thailand. So even though he's English and he's working on his laptop and he could potentially work somewhere else, his clients are Thai. So he's no longer able to travel freely and work remotely. He is now linked here. It really depends what is work and what is travel. And what percentage do you want to fit?
Yeah, I really, really like that insight, because I think that's something that, you know, you could read up on digital nomad lifestyle, but that is not something you're exactly going to hear. It kind of paints a different picture, you know, the transition perhaps of when you're starting out into some of these other different levels of it and what it could mean for you. So anyway, I do have another clip here coming up relating to, you know, what it's like, the life of a digital nomad. And here's Christian explaining that.
So I'm constantly trying to basically grind my way through each month. Like, hey, can I get a bit of cash from here? Can I spend a bit of my time here? So per day, I wake up and, you know, the first thing I do is go and get myself a coffee. And I can wake up at 7 a.m. If I'm awake, I'll just work. Or it can be 10 a.m. It doesn't matter to me. I'll just work later. And my clients from Fiverr could be 3 o'clock in the morning here, 3 p.m. there, right? America or something.
Yeah.
So the best thing about my daily life is that it's basically completely different and I do whatever I want.
Yeah. Here's another sort of hidden insight as far as how you can kind of piece things together, how you can get started and how you can continue to establish yourself while living and traveling abroad.
You know, networking is a big thing. I do some work for my friend here, and you're only from a conversation, you start chatting to them. Hey, you do that? Well, I do this. We could work together. And that's what a big thing about the digital nomad life is.
All right, well, this might be a nice point to kind of hear a little bit more about Christian's backstory, about why he decided to get into this digital nomad lifestyle. And I think it's always interesting to hear these stories, to hear these insights, because you can sometimes connect up elements to your own life and your own ways of thought and thinking, and it might give you some clarity. So yeah, have a listen.
When I was in England, I got promoted enough so that they could move me over to head office, which was where the Dutch branch was. And that gave me the sort of the travel bug a little part, right? I was like, oh, wow, this was great. And I went from England, only an hour flight, right? Easy jet, super easy, 50 quid, 100 quid, I think it was. And I'm there. Yeah. And then I started to buy condo, and they give me a good relocation package. I was buying projectors and a car and a sofa. And I'm like, this is my life now, right? 26-ish, I think, when I moved. And I'm beginning to start now growing roots, but with the underlying thing of, actually, the thing that I'm enjoying the most about going to work every day is the fact that I've moved from England and I barely went on holiday.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then I had a girlfriend, and she every weekend she wanted to go to Garden World and paint one wall of one. I remember this story, right? She wanted to paint one wall of her bathroom. And it was like an hour-long discussion, and we'd go and get the paint and blah, blah, blah. And at one point I was like, do I want to paint that one wall of that one room, of that one street, of that one house, when I haven't seen what's in Germany yet? And I haven't been to Switzerland, and I haven't been to Asia.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to settle, and I didn't. And then, well, long story short, like basically my 4 grandparents died, and then my mum passed away. And I was like, do I want to spend the rest of my life feeling sad about basically going from having a massive family to being on my own? Or do I want to just take it with a grain of salt that life gives you these hits and you just go and do something? So we ended up splitting up, and I went and handed in my notice in my job, a job that I will never get to that level again. I sold my sports car. I sold everything at a massive loss, and I put everything in a bag, which was about, I think it must have been about 13 kilograms of stuff. It was super heavy. And within a year, it's down to like 3 kilograms. You can travel light, right? You don't need all that crap.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'm going to go out and explore the world and see 5 or 6 different countries. And then I can decide which one I want to live for the rest of my life. And that was the theory. And that was 10 years ago. And I'm still not necessarily sure where we're going to be here in a year.
Now, one of the vibes that I got in this conversation with Christian is that this topic, or this decision relating to being a digital nomad, it runs deep. You know, you're really self-contemplating about life and living, a lot of philosophical sort of issues. You know, what do you want out of life? What's most important to you? And here's a really interesting clip that kind of gets to this point that I think it would be really useful to those who are maybe considering this lifestyle.
I said, I'm going to quit. And by the way, can I live in your garden in a tent for 3 days as a practice? And he was like, sure, you weirdo. 10 years later, I went back to visit him only 6 months ago. I went to Holland just to meet him, just to say hi and things. One thing was, I was earning X amount, and he was earning double that. All right, double X. I was working 45 to 50 hours a week. He was working double that. He was making 100 hours a week. And at a point where I thought to myself, how much money do I need to make myself happy? You know, do I need a faster car to make myself happy? I'm still going to be in the same traffic as everyone else. I just liked going to a new place, and I was the only English guy in this little street where they only spoke Dutch, which was weird because Dutch basically speak English. But this one street, they didn't. So I was the unique kind of quirky idiot. And I kind of thought to myself, this is free. This is free to hang out here. And it would be free to sit on a beach. And it would be free to go just, you know, not to, like, but a beer in Thailand is 50p. So it's kind of like, how much money makes you happy, and does it really make you happy? If you've got no time to spend it, go somewhere where money goes a long way, and where I've got a swimming pool here. I can just go down 7 floors, have a swimming pool. Can't do that in England. I'd freeze.
For one,
have all my stuff stolen or something. Here I can go and chill in the pool at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a beer if I want. And no one can bloody stop me. And for that, I'm rich.
Yeah, did that last clip get you thinking a little bit there? I know it did for me when I was speaking with Christian. Well, to add on a little bit more, here's some of the other rewards and benefits of this kind of lifestyle.
No one wants to commute to work. I don't want to spend an hour to get to a place where I got to spend 10 hours to then just look forward to an hour home. The best day of the week is Friday night, right? Because you've got the whole of Saturday. Sunday isn't even enjoyable because you can't do anything because of Monday again.
Right.
I often am asking my wife what day it is, because I have no clue. and
it might just drive her nuts if she's not in the same lifestyle as you.
400 days in a row. It could be any day for me. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, I have one last clip I want to show you here. And this returns to this point of examining the lifestyle and examining your place within it all. What do you want out of life? And what's most important to you? I know we had a clip already on this point, but I think it's so critically important. You know, this really can define your life in a lot of different ways. So yeah, have a listen and have a think.
I think I had a life coach when I was in Holland. They provided that for me, and it was brilliant. But it shot them in the foot because it made me want to leave. But the life coach, they said set a target, and it was like, I want to be happier in life. And they're like, no, make it smaller. I was like, okay, I just want to be happier. No, make it smaller. I want to be happy. And that's it. And I think we all strive for that, right? What makes you happy? And can you settle on a lower income in a lower place in a completely unique area of the world but you feel special and you've got money goes a longer way and you make really awesome friends. Yes. Well, then it's a risk. And I had no idea I was going to come to Asia. Right. I kind of looked at it and went, well, America, they're going to shoot me. South America, I'll probably get shot too. So Asia seems nice. So I'll start there, work my way back. And then you come here and I'm like, I'm ginger, I'm 6'2", so I look weird. And yeah, you kind of feel like a little bit more special.
Okay, well, as far as trying to keep these videos, on the shorter side of things, I think this might be a nice point to draw things to a close here. But I do encourage you to check out the full-length audio version wherever you access your podcast. There's so much more contained within it. We're kind of picking out the highlights for this video, but again, the practicalities of being a digital nomad, and even some of the challenges, we didn't really get into those so much, but you want to check that out in the full-length audio version. Just do that search for Life as a ... wherever you access your podcast. And while I do have your attention here, as I always ask, I know it always feels a little bit strange, it feels weird, I'd really, really appreciate a like or subscribe. It's the only way that this platform, YouTube, knows to share this content, to put it in front of others. So yeah, if you have a second, please like or subscribe. Anyways, I do look forward to seeing you next week. I have these episodes dropping every single week where you can continue to discover and find potential pathways for you setting up yourself in your career and your life. All right, until then, see you later.